Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It looks like we are set up for a pretty fantastic match. We were a little giddy once we heard we were going to be able to do this. It's going to be Infinity 7's Crazymoving against Ganzi.
Robin, I would have given up anything to see this match. Crazymoving is a player that I have been one of the biggest fans of. Really enjoy his play style, and honestly, I've followed the guy forever. He's got such a history. Going up against a huge name like Ganzi, you know, he's been proving himself quite a bit at this tournament so far. I know he just took a match on the main stage about an hour ago now, and now he's going to be facing off against a legend like Ganzi, with Ganzi having some fantastic performance lately in the pools. He is 2-2 right now in an epic bracket, you know, including players like Marine, King, Prime, Sase, and MC. I remember the series versus MC with Ganzi was absolutely fantastic. So now he's going to be facing off against a Zerg of legendary proportions here. How's he going to fare?
Oh, it's gonna be tough. But Crazymoving is definitely an opponent that is worthy of Ganzi here. Checking over into Crazymoving, I'm looking at his bracket, man. He has actually played some pretty fantastic Terran players.
Yes.
Select 2-0'd him, and I actually heard on the main stage. I was walking to get ready for my cast when that match was ending, and I heard something about Crazymoving hitting 420 APM towards the end of that battle. That is ridiculous, and he's so good at being all over the place and really having great control of his units. He took out Illusion, who is one of my favorite Terran players, Vile Illusion, one of the young up-and-comers that have been coming out from Team Vile. And, of course, he's taken out Shu. Shu's pretty good as well. We've seen him in a few of the dailies that we've casted. And then there's a few other players. There was Namespace, and I'm not going to say at the end of that, Ataro as well. So, Crazymoving had a tough road, but he's been pretty much plowing through it. And I really feel like he's going to be a great contender for Ganzi.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Crazymoving is one of these players that's actually, he's not afraid to take really proxy and risky expansions. I recall on Shattered Temple, for example, against Terran or Protoss players, his favorite third was actually on the other side of the map. He loved, instead of killing the destructible debris, he would simply just take the third on the other side, and it worked out great for him almost every time because his ability to control units, split units effectively, he can juggle. He's one of these players that when he wants to scout the map for proxy things, he sends out a Zergling to virtually every different corner of the map, controls them all simultaneously. He's absolutely phenomenal in that regard. His game knowledge has been improving, and with it, his overall skill here. And now we're seeing him on a stage like MLG. You know, we used to have the pleasure of casting him back in the Play Him dailies a long time ago. And honestly, I mean, he's come such a long way, qualifying for Code A at GSL, and now tearing through players here at MLG.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of stages, he's no stranger to them. He's been on the GSL stage before. Actually, I think he was competing for Code A, if I remember correctly, against Liquid Hero. And it was actually a very amazing series. I remember it faintly, but I remember it being fantastic, and all I could do was watch. I did no analyzing. I just watched. And so I'm so excited to see how he does on the stage and if he can make it any further. But enough giving so much props to Mr. Crazymoving. We love him, we know it, but Ganzi
Talk a little about Ganzi,
well. He's thrown down a Rax down the bottom left corner. Now, this is kind of used to kill off an Overlord if it's put in the wrong position. You can actually pop it on up and see vision over that little cliff that normally a lot of Zergs thrown over there, but Crazymoving did not put one there. Following up with the one Rax to expand afterwards, so overall, very, very standard play here, throwing down a bunker right before that creep does finish up. If he can get it up, great, and actually his Marine placement is really great.
It's beautiful, Robin.
I think it's going to complete. It's really hard to get to that Marine.
Well, it's really going to come down to the control here out of Crazymoving. This is not an easy position to be dealing with this SCV. It can slip into this area here between the Vespi and the Marine, getting pretty low on hit points, but manages already to take down one drone.
Ganzi.
During all of this, I don't think things have been taken seriously enough. Ganzi, yeah, he's going to complete this bunker, and this Marine is likely gonna make it inside.
Wow, and he gets in there with red HP as well. This does a couple of things. One, it pulls away at the hatchery, which kind of puts you into a frantic mode. You're like, okay, I need to kill this off before too much damage can be done. Granted, it's one Marine, it's not a lot, but if left untouched, you can do enough.
Absolutely.
One is denying mining time from that natural. It makes it a little bit harder if it's left there too long to even try and break it down as well. A couple more Marines could be coming. But Ganzi is not going that route. We have no more Marines coming across.
No, he's not committing to it at all, in fact.
And he's okay with denying mining time and maybe killing off a drone or two.
You know, one of the things we were talking a lot about Crazymoving and how he's been up and coming and really, you know, becoming a well-known player. There's been a lot of action, basically, surrounding Crazymoving. But Ganzi, Robin, he is, I guarantee you, he is confident going into this match because Ganzi has a decorated history, if you will. He's a very recognized Terran player. We see him here not getting an opportunity and trying to capitalize it, even though, you know, he had already kind of pulled back and chosen not to, and then switching gears. No, Ganzi decides to do something, he sticks with it, and I think that's really going to reflect in his ability to play here against Crazymoving. Honestly, I mean, even though it's on dual site, I'd give both these players even odds. Ganzi's a fantastic Terran.
Gotta agree with you. A lot of production facilities now finishing up. Racks creating reactors at the factory can go down, so reactor Hellions following up afterwards. And it looks like he wants to follow up into Bio afterwards. 2 more racks being set up as well. Looking over into Crazymoving, got 1 gas. He stopped mining gas until I say that, and now he hops right back on top of it, throwing down a 2nd gas as well. I wonder if he's going to throw down a 3rd gas.
He does, yeah. No, it's actually the 2nd gas was thrown down around 6:30. If you're going to go for a Roach Baneling style, which we do see, especially out of a player like Crazymoving who has no problem being aggressive, we do see if you're a Terran player at home and you are struggling with this new style that I'm sure you're probably seeing a ton of on ladder. It's getting so much popularity. Yeah, around 32 to 35, but you can't see the Zerg supply at the 5:30 mark. If you see a gas, a 2nd gas, excuse me, you should be worrying about Roach Baneling. Most Zergs never take a 2nd gas that fast unless they intend to go for that maneuver.
Yeah, this one was a minute later, so it's most likely going to be more about upgrades, really. And actually, we see that right now. Level 1 repair has been started up. We're going to see if he's going to go for a layer or anything of that matter. And usually, I'm going to bring down the game sound really quick. Apparently, it's a little bit loud. Bring it down just a tad bit. Yeah, there goes the layer right away. Usually also you would have a Bailey Nest thrown up by now as well if it's going to be that all-in, of course. So again, he's just going very heavy on upgrades. And as I say that, throwing out a 2nd evolution chamber, getting out layers at the moment, maybe even a 3rd pretty soon as well. At least a macro hatch is going to be needed pretty soon. Do have a few
we are at the 60 supply mark. That's actually a great thing to point out, I think, Robin. The macro hatch is not on the field here for Crazymoving. Is he going to stick with Ling for a long time? This is not a typical Zerg play, this lack of a macro hatch. I want to say he may be going into very, very heavy Mutalisk play.
Yeah, definitely a huge possibility. Granted, with the double evolution chambers, it seems a little bit
yeah, now
odd.
Starting up the melee upgrade. So now I agree with you. I'm curious. I don't really know. But the 44 macro hatch has become so standard in Zerg versus Terran.
Got some Hellions coming into the natural. It looks like that they do go ahead and retreat once. See that Queen in the way. The creep spread starting to be really immaculate here for our Zerg player Crazymoving. What exactly is Ganzi up to besides having map control with the Hellions? Let's take a peek over into the main. Got a nice amount of Marines out for Siege Tank is here. Actually, siege mode actually.
Yeah, this looks a lot like what Complexity Drewby's a big fan of. He's a little bit slower on the build, but that's because we see 4 Hellions on the field. Drewby loves moving out with a 3-tank timing that hits at 9:30, but one of the tanks being left in the back, and it does get surrounded here by, oh my goodness, Crazymoving doing such great usage of those small amount of links there.
So huge. That stifles the push.
Absolutely.
That siege tank is so huge because the 3rd siege tank is coming out with it with a group of Marines as well. So it becomes a 3 siege tank push with Marines, which makes it so powerful. But he's lost so much DPS with that siege tank. That was really, really well done for 7 or 8 links. Now we have 4 Hellions now moving across the map. Siege tank leading the charge with some Marines following up afterwards. But he had an idea of what kind of composition is coming. Crazymoving is getting set up. 22 more links on the way. Siege mode has been complete. Sieging up. Scan does go down. Kills off 1 creep tumor. Ling's going to go ahead and pull on back. You don't want to engage that. It's actually kind of a narrow choke. He wants the Marines to push up a little bit more.
Absolutely. He's taking a 3rd during all of this. So what Crazymoving wants to do here is sit every moment as he can. He can lose this evolution chamber. It's not researching anything right now. That was actually the 1-star care base, but he's coming in right now with a very small flank. Most of the units coming in from the front. I would have liked to see him wait longer, but I think he still may be able to take this down. No, the siege tank was actually too well protected. Crazymoving going to have to pull back. And Robin, I really wanted to see him wait until this Evo chamber went down. Waiting time, build up more and more units, and then come in. And Crazymoving really jumping the gun there.
Yeah, just a little bit. Plus, his carapace is already done, so there's no reason for him to really jump the gun at all.
Exactly.
It gets the broodlings out. That softens up a little bit of the damage that comes from the siege tank, so your lings can have a couple more, live a little bit longer, which could be the difference between breaking and not breaking that engagement. And now he's in a position here where his lair looks a little bit in trouble. Some drones might be picked off. Marines already preemptively split. We have 3 infestors on the way, but it's going to be a while before they actually become useful.
He is in so much trouble right now, Robin. I mean, we see reinforcements currently on the way here for Ganzi. Drone's going to have to be transferred away from the natural, which was... Oh, wow. The natural expansion is the lair. He actually... I mean, there was no reason for Crazymoving to move in. This lair would have bought him so much time. He had the evolution chamber, he had spine crawlers to buy him time. And the longer he waited, he had the macro hatch in his main. He had this 3rd as well established. The more and more links he would have piled up, Robin. And moving in there just may have lost him this game. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, the main does have a few Marines here. They are picking off a few drones, and it looks like the lair has fallen. Infestor does pop out, takes a couple of pot hits, and I still think the Marines are alive in the main. He hasn't been able to bring the lings from his 3rd over to defend against us. Yes. All of his lings down to his 3rd. And now we see Ganzi just punishing him for it. These infestors are here. Are they going to drop another fungal? They certainly could if they would like. Nope, he knows he's done. GG. That game went 10 times faster than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, Robin, why did Crazymoving attack there?
He had to have misjudged it. Again, remember that brush is there? The creep timber was killed off, so he had no more vision anymore.
Yes.
Remember? So he may have thought there was less Marines there, and actually there was Marines that reinforced with that group. So
that's
that might
actually
have
a
thrown
great
off
thing to point out because,
the
you know,
creep
he
timber.
picked off that siege tank early on in the engagement. That may have made him a lot more confident in feeling that he could take those out with just the links that he had available. And, you know, while the reality of it is that he could not, I can see that's actually a great thing to bring attention to. The lack of vision from those creep tumors and maybe misjudging the strength of his opponent's army by a small margin there. So, guys, we are getting the invite into the second game. We'll get this started in just a second for you. But Crazymoving getting manhandled there, simply put, by Ganzi. Ganzi with a very standard timing.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was weakened because that tank was picked off. But Crazymoving simply, guys, not playing it correctly. That's what it all boiled down to. He had all the tools available. All he needed, he had available in order to stop that pressure. But he just jumped the gun.
Yeah, Kibble's nailing it all in the head there, guys. We're going to go ahead and get ready for game number 2, MLG Metalopolis. Let's go ahead and make sure the scoreboard is correct. It sure is, because Ganzi is up 1-0, 8 seconds and counting, guys. And we'll be loading up this match for you. Game 2, who do you think is going to win, guys? Tweet Kibbles and I, we would love to know who you think is going to be winning this series. It's going to be a good one. I hope Movement's got this. He's picking Metalopolis, which is always Terran or Zerg favored.